Beatty, I say. Harriet Tubman, I say. Senator Cruz, I say. Mary Cloud Booth, I say. Richard Allen, I say. Nat Turner, I say. Now, here's one more. John D. Jackson, they get your back. Okay, I don't want to get the wrong thing. John D. Jackson, I say. Okay, now. I'm going to pull, let's see, all the Hemmitt family, I say. All the Shaw family, I say. All the Davis family, I say. And all my family known and unknown, I say. All right, now we got a little more water, so when I count to 3, 1, 2, 3, start calling out the family members. 1, 2, 3.
Vance Blackman.
I say. I say. I say. I say.
Cedric Douglas.
I say. I say.
Melissa Perkins. John Perkins.
I say. All my known and unknown.
I say.
To all ancestors known and unknown.
I say.
I say. Special one to Gaia, the earth to be her own. I say. Alpha Moria. I say. Adela. I say. Cam. I say. Let's see. Typhon. I say. Great Mother. I say. I say. All right. Okay. Now, we can get right down to business here. Got a lot of stuff. Got a lot of visual things on the show tonight because I think in the last. Let's say first of all, people don't know me, and my name is Bobby Hemmitt. I'm coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia. And first of all, if some of this stuff sounds strange, it's because I don't do what you would call Afrocentricity or the regular historical lectures that you have seen with the ASCAC conference and that on back. That was for those particular people, and all of this particular stuff, whatever you're in, is all one piece to the puzzle. But my thing is based on esoteric teachings, that which is hidden, the stuff that you don't normally see, and the stuff that is really not literal, in a literal sense. Your Bible gives you a lot of energy, a lot of things on the literal sense, which is not literal, it is esoteric other than exoteric. So you thinking it's time stories, you thinking it's parables and all that, and all the particular stuff they're talking about is within other than without. You see what I'm saying? So when we go deeper into these things, Israel, Isis, Ra, and the sun, El, which means sun, you see what I'm saying? Are God, Israel, Isis, which means black people. Jerusalem means the soul, the place. Anytime they give you a place, a temple, or anything like that, they're talking about inward and not a particular landmass. You see what I'm saying? So the Holy Land is within. So we're going to deal with those particular things, but right now what we want to do, we want to deal with the Oklahoma thing. Now, I think the last time I came, I told people that, and I think I cut this off. Okay, no, that's not it. I told the people that on March 24th, Janet Reno established a particular strike force to strike and to watch out or to go in and wipe out militias. Okay? Now, we have the actual document. It's just that I went to Hampton University, and I gave the brothers a bunch of the papers on this stuff, and I told them to Xerox the stuff and mail it back in a week. Well, it's been 3 weeks, but you know how brothers and sisters are. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't get the actual document back in time to show you, but I received the document in Indiana, but I received a small subsequent document from Detroit, but I received the entire 3-page document on this Janet Reno strike force against all militias that were supposed to go in act on March 24th. Okay, then the next thing we know, some building gets blown up. And what happens? As a result of the building, what? They go after the militias. Okay? We know now, based on the spiritual channelings and based on we was waiting on it, that the government is the one that blew up the doggone building. You see? Now, all you got to do is track back in history. First of all, the first thing they do when they do this particular thing is they catch the person in 2 or 3 days to a week. Now, the last time they had this big conspiracy and they caught the people from 2 or 3 days in a week was Lee Harvey Oswald. It's the same story. They caught him in 2 or 3 days, or either in a week, or when another conspiratorial story was with James Earl Ray. You see what I'm saying? So they have carefully planned this thing all the way out to go against the militias. Now, what's this cracker, he's this new type of Ku Klux Klan. He doesn't wear the sheets and all of them. Tom Metzger. Tom Metzger told Reverend Bouffant, what's his name from New York, Sharpton, told him that any laws that you pass against me is for you. You don't know who Ku Klux Klansmen and skinheads are. Like he said on Montel Williams, our skin is our uniform. So you're thinking of the same Ku Klux Klan and the militia, and you don't even understand that the militias that they are actually talking about is you. Now, what is a militia? A militia is anybody that is not politically correct, which means it does not go with the normal flow of the government, or to improve life outside of the system of what the government would want you to do. Let me show you who's on the militia list. Now, we know that all your black Nation of Islam and all your black things, you already know that. But also on the militia list, you know the AKAs and all of that, based on the King Apple plan, all the black things. But the militia list also has Jenny Craig, weight loss, all this weight loss stuff, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, any type of society where they could bring up people into a group is a part of the militia. You see, Steve Coakley told you 2 years ago, or 2-3 years ago, that they was going to use, even Bill Cooper said it, that they was going to use the Ku Klux Klan to get the bills passed. You understand? Everybody saying, yeah, these militias and all, they're going to use them to get the bill passed so that they can lock up you. It's all about you. Now let's deal with a little bit of the history of this thing. Number one, the government has been weak for the past 10, 15 years. The country got out of hand, and they showed it was weak, first of all, because they couldn't win Vietnam. Number two, Iran and all of that stuff showed them that they were weak. So as a result, a part of the spoof was, remember now, in history, the Roman Empire was weak. They was weak for several hundreds of years, but they had established a certain amount of fear that you just didn't go up against the Roman Empire based on their history. Okay? But remember, the white vandals from Europe came in, and not knowing the history of the Roman Empire came in, a few little white stragglers from Europe came in and toppled the whole government. You understand? Because they understand the propaganda of when something is weak, they have this propaganda to make it appear strong. So what happened? They understood based on Vietnam and based on the takeover in the 60s and a lot of things when even Crockett's children got from up under them, they understood that they were weak, and they had to establish this totalitarian government under this great liberty again in these wars where black people say America's never lost a war. Hell, they haven't won one in this today. They lost World War II. They lost the Korean War. They lost all the wars. It wasn't a victory since the doggone Civil War. And that wasn't really a war because they was fighting amongst each other. You understand what I'm saying? Now, the key is that they have been weak all of this century. They have had a propaganda of making themselves seem powerful. Now, what happened was that they had to release a certain amount of material to make themselves feel like the evil beast again. It's called that wolf ticket type thing. Now, the wolf ticket type material was in 1970s, in the early 80s, there was no books out on the Illuminati. Because if people even talked about the Illuminati, they would come and take them out. One particular person, a group produced a film on the Illuminati in 1970s, and the government rolled against them and took it out. Now, all of a sudden, these books come out around, what, 1990? So, you know, Bill Cooper's book and all this stuff here. This is the wolf ticket to make it appear that the government is this so-called New World Order, and they got the strength with Europe and all that, and they did try to come together in 1990 with the wall coming down, you know, in Germany, and also Russia getting rid of communism. But as the Spirit did, they threw the monkey wrench in for the united Europe, and you had Bosnia break out. Okay? Now, they put out the material to actually combat you and put a fear in you, right? Now, as a result, it backfired on them because the Europeans in the pocket started taking the material and getting serious with it and established militias. You understand? To counter what was really meant for you. So as a result, the Spirit has been holding them back from putting this New World Order in, because now they got to try to put this New World Order down by June, but they understand, well, look, based on the doggone, and when I get into the real science of the time, if you know that this is the time now to bear witness, you would have started 10 years ago. You wouldn't wait till the end time prophecies to start things. If the white man was really going to make his move, he would have started it in the 80s when black people was deaf, dumb, and blind. You see, greater than that, even in the 70s, but he didn't have the power to do that. So he put out this particular propaganda, and it blew up in his face, and now the white militias have also come, and now they got to fight them, and now there's going to be a big war to wipe them out. They got to get them under control first before they go down and try to lock you down. Now, if you notice, they said John Doe number 2, how in the devil does the government know that in actuality that he might strike again? Come on, that's some bulljive. That's because they are planning to strike again. You see what I'm saying? And this whole terrorist thing is basically meant for you. You see, so now all your Uncle Tom people and everybody else that was not bearing witness to anything, Lord, I just want to go to work and get paid. Now they can actually see this thing is actually unfolded, and we are right in the hour of this thing. You see, now I want to address the question. First of all, I want to address the question that what's his name wrote to me in the paper about space Christians and all this stuff, Brother Dale Jones. Now he's so-called into revolutionary kick. So he's attacking me and Delbert Blair and a couple of other people. So he's in the revolutionary kick. And he admits he hadn't killed anybody yet. Right? But I got some brothers, I got a brother that's so-called, he halfway a Christian. And he's working with the Inukian deities that I'm going to introduce you. He done killed several crackers and got these crackers from killing black people. Another brother in Jacksonville. But he admits he ain't killed nobody yet. You see what I'm saying? But then again, all this whole thing about the gun thing. Now listen. Now let's be sensible here. First of all, the first thing the government wants you to do, now I'm not saying not to buy no guns and if the government busts up in your house, you don't take them out, that's self-defense. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not telling you not to do that. But the first thing the government wants you to do, the government understands that he cannot fight a war only, but on the physical level. He understands that he goes with anything on the force of nature and the force of high spirituality, he will lose because you can't win a war with a doggone ghost. See what I'm saying? With the spirit. So therefore, what he wants to do is he wants to force you into that particular thing. Now let's look at this. Let's look at the scenario of this. Let's say the black people are the Spartans or somebody in Rome where they got, you know, the knife and the shield. And yet the government, we don't even have to even go to his high technological stuff. Let's go into what he calls his regular warfare. And you go with a knife and a shield, and he got machine guns. Well, it's the same scenario when it comes to the whiteboard and the little bit of oozes and stuff that you think you got. Now look, this is the key. How many people saw the movie Outbreak? Now, the movie Outbreak is about a disease called Ebola Zaire. But the main thing about this is this. The particular disease is real because it aired on day one, what? About 2 weeks before they put the movie out. About a disease that can kill you in 48 hours. Now, the key to this whole disease that kill you in 48 hours is this. Number one, it's an ethnic warfare because they killed 1,000 people in Africa. But the monkey that they so-called said it had the disease got out the cave in Fort Detrick, Maryland. Now, I wonder where I heard that before. Fort Detrick, Maryland, same place they cooked up the AIDS. This particular monkey got out the cage and no white people died. Yet when you see the movie, they simply tell you that the whole movie, what was the moral to the movie? They was trying to make a doggone bomb or a particular ethnic weapon or a weapon. That was the basis to the movie. But do you understand the concept? Because we don't really analyze anything. Here is 2 weeks, they come out with a real disease on day one, and I think a couple of months before they had it on before. So they come out with a real disease. Then they come out with this movie about Outbreak, and the next thing you know, they didn't make up a name. Oh, like you go, well, that's equivalent to the new Ebola Zaire. They gave you, no, they literally said Ebola Zaire and showed you the effects on how this thing kill you in what? 48 hours. You understand what I'm saying? 48 hours. Now, this is the key. Go watch the movie because the movie is still in theaters, right? Luckily, it had a big enough stars. You know, some movies come in, they stay about 2 weeks, and they go to the dollar freak, and they out of circulation until they come in the video. But luckily, they put Dustin Hoffman and all that. In those particular movies, they keep in the theater a little longer because they put a certain amount, you know, Morgan Freeman and all that deal. Now, go see the movie. Now, this is the catch between the movie. The movie starts off in 1967, right? Where they blow up this particular African tribe that came down with this disease. Eat your flesh up in 48 hours. Then the next thing the movie has is present day. Okay, right? This is the key. I was doing a lecture in Jacksonville, Florida, brother said, well, we need to go get some water and some stuff like this and some juice. Why don't you come to the supermarket with me? So I really had to get ready for this. I said, okay, cool. I had about an hour for the lecture. I went to the supermarket. While he's in there trying to get some stuff, I'm standing up and I'm looking in the book section, the magazine section. And I look over here and I see the little Outbreak book, the little $4 book that they put out with the movie. You know, the little paperback. I said, well, let me go look at the book. I know I already saw the movie, but then again, there's always more in the book. Now, in the movie, they say 1967, they show them come in, they drop this bomb, they get this particular disease up, they take it back to Fort Detrick, Maryland, and they synthesize it and make a weapon out of it. Then they show present day when the thing break out in America. Okay, I go get the book. I see 1967. Okay, I saw that in the movie. Then I turn to the point. I said, well, let me see what present day is. I turn to the part where it's supposed to be present day, and it says August 19th, 1995. Well, see, they make movies timeless. Why are they going to put a date in the book? August 19th, 1995. Now, going back to Dale Jones is this. He out here with a little bit of oozes and all this kind of thing, and I know his heart is in the right place, but they're a little light in the ass on this type shit. Now, they come out with this particular thing. They might win a few battles, but the key to the whole thing is this. The cracker got a disease that can kill you in 48 hours, and you talking about a machine gun? Well, hell, you get sick in 8 hours. So that means you ain't got but 8 hours worth of fighting. The next couple of hours, you trying to survive or trying to breathe or something. And wonder about these boys and how it's going to kill you. And they aired the same thing last night on the X-Files. 48 hours again. They showed how this thing wipe you out and what the monkey was, this boy would spit on you. This is the real deal. So now they're talking on this particular thing because that's called ego. You see. Now, you don't want to do it on the way. Now, so he's going to tell me, doggone the metaphysic and the spiritual thing. So you're going to wipe out over a couple of million years of spirituality on the earth for a doggone machine gun that the damn Jews manufactured to fight your war. You understand what I'm saying? Yet, this man is the doggone author of that. I should not suspect a doggone cat. Go to the dog pound and hang out with the dogs and gonna use dog methods to fight the dog. He's already outside of his realm. The dog is an expert at being a doggone dog. You understand the concept? That's called ego. And what's happening is this here. And I'm not, see, my whole thing is I don't attack anybody that go stand up. Hell, if you want to go out there and get your head blowed off, leave. You did something. I just figure you're supposed to fight smart and not hard. But I don't attack any of that. But my whole key is this here. You're going to outrule any spirituality whatsoever. You see what I'm saying? All of this particular stuff that has come down the pipe, and we are actually gaining ground. And yet, my mate done killed 2 or 3 of these. We done killed 2 or 3, 4, 5 crackers and stuff in doggone January on 12/12. Yet he ain't killed nobody yet. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I know that's getting a bit too graphic for you, but you got to understand what's really going down. It's about the spirituality, and when I get into certain things tonight, you will see these particular things is actually going down. So what I want to do is, let's see, so first of all, remember now, I told you the last time I was here, I told you Newt Gingrich's book is coming out in August. It's called 1945, which 4 and 5 is 9. It's actually 1995. But the 45 is a significant number to the New World Order. So the next thing they do, they go bring this doggone monkey. They done kill this monkey's father. Kill his father because they told this monkey, don't win a 3rd championship. We don't want no super niggas. He wins his third championship for Chicago, and the next thing you know, they execute his father. You understand? Oh, we burn up the body so you can't have no autopsy on this. You understand what I'm saying? And they're bringing on 2 doggone hits down there. Right? Okay, yeah. And he quits and all this type of thing. So what happened? They bring this doggone fool back, and he's going to run him ball again. He got to play. If it ain't baseball, he got to play some ball because that's where his mind is. Oh, he's the greatest entertainer. He's an asshole. Let's call it what it is. It's time to stop time out for playing ball. So they bring him back, and what the first thing they do? They put the number 45 on his shirt, the Newt Gingrich number. Why didn't they give him the other number? If it's retired, hell, you can bring it back out of retirement if it's his number. They put 45 on his doggone shirt, letting you know this whole thing. And the only reason why they brought him back was the whole baseball thing went haywire. You see, all this particular stuff is actually going down, actually going down. Now, did I tell you the last time about this thing? They got this new concentration camp called Devil's Island. Did I tell you that? They got a concentration camp that it opened up. It's going to open up May first. It's called Devil's Island in the Everglades of Florida. No heat, no electricity, no air conditioning, no doctor. It's in the swamps with mosquitoes and all that. And if you have to go to the doctor, you have to work off. I think you get like 7 cents a day, a quarter a day, and you got to work up to $7 to even go to the doctor. And these are new concentration camps. Also, we actually went down and saw the concentration camp in Indiana, which has an accelerator there that can actually burn up to 3,000 bodies a day. We saw this thing is built in the old Amtrak station, where the train can put the Negroes on the train and roll them right into the particular station. But we've also saw the trains that is made with shackles made embedded into the trains in Valdosta, Georgia. After the Matrix system book said it in 1991 that the train derailed and it had shackles in it. But we actually saw these particular trains, and they have closed down Amtrak in smaller places, and these Amtrak can go straight into the particular station. And they have, and now the reason how they're going to pull all this stuff off is they have Russian troops that don't really read English. So on the back of these particular signs, they got red and blue markers, and they can follow the markers and go straight to the particular concentration camps. And these are the people that's going to be manning these things, because they don't have an allegiance to you, because they don't know you. You see. But they have this particular train that's going that rolls right in, and they have this. I mean, it's infirmaries there. No, excuse me, accelerators, and these things are crematoriums, and they burn up to 3,000 bodies a day. But on the other hand, like I told the people, they need to go and get the movie The Harvest, because they're talking about the biggest thing that's going on is body parts. Now, body parts is the biggest thing that's going on, because it's the number one. They got to get the melanated parts, because they don't reject the body. These white parts reject the body, so they have to get the melanated parts. Now, the biggest thing that's going on at this particular time is these body parts, and as a result, they had a particular brother. I think this brother, he was a part of the Nation of Islam, and he was down in Jacksonville, Florida, and he was at one of these colleges down there. Now, supposedly, the Ku Klux Klan is not the Ku Klux Klan with the sheets. We talking about big-time businessmen that run the businesses that you work for. They have a ritual every Valentine's Day that they get a black person to eat that person's heart. Then the other parts, like the brains and all that, they cut up, put them in ice, and ship them all across the country to people that need those particular parts. Well, this particular brother in the nation that was raising hell down there, he ended up missing during Valentine's Day, and we know what happened to him. They used him this time as a target for the ritual. They didn't just want an ignorant person. They wanted a person that could actually go and that could actually was a conscious person. So that was the big thing in this particular dispensation of time. Now, the other thing is in Atlanta, there's no more homeless. The homeless overnight, about a year ago, they have cleaned all homeless people up. And they had a big homeless problem in Atlanta. They had the homeless sleeping on top of the bench. They have cleaned them all up, and as a result, one of the sisters saw it, and this thing happened simultaneously in Atlanta and also in L.A. I think did I tell you about that the last time I was here? I think it was a week after I came. When did I come in? I came in February. About a week after I came, they had this task force came and hit the projects in Atlanta, I think Carver Homes. And they rounded up about 20 black men. One brother got away and ran on MARTA bus system, which is the transit system, but he didn't understand that all that is run by the actual government and FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Act. So he ran on there, and the brother on the bus would not, it was an empty bus, and the brother would not take him where he wanted to go, so he threw the brother off the bus and couldn't get the bus in gear, and the white men ran on the bus, and he jumped out the window and got all cut up, but they got him anyway. And they came around in these particular white TV vans, the ones that you see with the 11 Alive and these particular Channel 5, but they just don't have the thing on the top. They came in about 10 or 12 of those and was putting these black people up. And they have taken those particular black people to Oregon because there's a concentration camp in Oregon. And they have taken them down to Oregon and they're making them into body parts, and they're getting the body parts. Some people say, well, hell, why they snatch up bums? First of all, a bum got a better body part than you, because a bum don't eat as much as you, so therefore, even though he lives out on the street, his body cleans out haphazardly, because he doesn't eat enough, so his body is not diseased. That's why you always say, well, hell, why all the bums always still out here living, but everybody is well-to-do, black bourgeoisie, rich people, and all this stuff, and also the other people that's not on the street, they dying like flies. But the bummers be living out there year after year because they don't eat the same thing based on they don't have enough money. So that's the best one for the body parts, you see. So, you know, based on diet. So they're taking those particular ones up also, too. So these are some things that's actually, going down at this particular time. Now, what I want to do is I want to get to some other particular things that we're dealing with at this particular time. We're going to go back, because right now, my main thing right now is to deprogram the mind, is to take a person to act back beyond Kemetic, or back beyond what you would call Africa or ancient Africa. We want to go all the way back. So what I want to do at this particular time is actually go back. So I made a pledge that if nobody didn't learn anything, they should have at least gotten these particular scriptures. So I say these on every last one of my particular lectures. I always give out these particular scriptures. And you notice it's Psalms 82 verse 1, with people who have pencils. Psalms 82 verse 1, and God standeth on the congregation of the mighty, and he judges among the gods. Which means that's judging among you because you are gods. And you must understand these particular things that's actually going on. Now, because some of these particular spirituality will work for you if you realize that you're not just a person of under God, but you're a joint heir with the Christ, and you are the Christ, and you are God too. And therefore, your whole reality will be different. Right now, I'll tell you how powerful this is, to let you know. I went to the mounds in Tennessee, or in Indian mounds in Tennessee Monday. And while we was on there, we received information that they have a whole consortium of white people have consolidated together. And they took 3 black people to get the energy, all to try to put some doggone stuff on me to try to hurt me based on some witchcraft. But the stuff hadn't been working, and the particular magic is weak. Now, why is the magic weak, and why the magic cannot penetrate? Number one, first of all, the only magic there is on the planet is the magic that the black man and the black woman brought forth, or the spiritual divination systems. Because there's only power. You can use it for negative or positive. So therefore, when they unleash the particular entities on me, it's the same damn entities that I'm pouring doggone libation to. So all that coming and doing is making me more stronger. I get juice all of a sudden, and all the next thing, I got a burst of energy because some doggone crackers are doing some rituals to hurt me. But then again, there's no such thing as rituals outside of black people. You understand? And plus also because my mind understands that what you call black magic only means black people's magic. So hell, if you giving me black people magic, it's the same damn magic that I'm invoking for my own self. So therefore, no kind of negative stuff can actually hurt me. You see, so in actuality, they have been trying for over a year, and they have tried everything. And it can't work. Another thing is humility. I don't give a doggone about nothing physical at all. I live without money, basically. You understand what I'm saying? I have no other job than when I go do a lecture, and it might be 2 weeks apart before I go do a lecture, and I'm the lowest paid. I say, well, I come for $300. Somebody say I got $250. I come for that. But that's all the money I got in the world. I have no bank account. So therefore, I don't live in my desires. How these rituals work and all is they feed on your passions. So if you have a passion for money, that's what they do. They put you into the money realm, and therefore you go on that realm trying to get paid, and therefore get you off the spiritual path. You see what I'm saying? So it feeds on your passions and stuff. If you got a large ego, then the first thing happens is you start doing things, and the next thing you know, you start going against the actual people that you so-called helping, because your ego won't let you go forward. Therefore, you want somebody to worship you or bow down to you. So therefore, the whole thing is to forget this world. I don't even live in this world no more. I'm here, but I'm someplace else. You see what I'm saying? So also, I was saying, Brother Noah got a little son, and I noticed him. I've noticed him the last time, and my spirit just picked up. This little boy don't do nothing according to the laws of whatever. If you say it's white, he gonna say it's black. But then again, on the other hand, I'm understanding that spiritually, he's in tune. Because also, if you are a model of this society in a world like this, and you doggone function in this society at the utmost of the standard of this society, you got to be ultimately dead. You understand what I'm saying? Ultimately dead. Like I said, be in this world, but not of this world. Check? All right, then. So now, based on this here, you must understand the year of God. If you don't get nothing, you must understand this. And that's why Psalms and John chapter 10, verse 34 to 36 says, and Jesus answered unto them, Is it not written in your law that I say, ye are God? And he called them gods unto whom the word of God came. And the scriptures cannot be broken. And he says, whom the Father has sanctified and sent into the world, thou blasphemest, because I have said that I am the Son of God. But that's like the disciples saying, we can't get along without you when you're going. He said, didn't I say in my law that you are God? And just as I have done great works, greater works you shall do. And be ye perfect as I am. That means in order to be perfect, you got to be the exact duplication or personification of what he is, which means that you have the same things in your body. Now, when I got a lot of good pictures here today, and when we start going into this stuff, and I'm going to show you how some things is already getting ready to go down, so you all just stick with it. Check. Now, the other one is Romans chapter 8, 14, verse 14, 16, and 17. For as many is led by the Spirit, they are the sons of God. And if our spirit bears witness, if their spirit bears witness with our spirit, we are the children of God. And if children, then heirs. And if heirs, then joint heirs with the Christ. Which means that Christ ain't got nothing on you. He is your brother and has passed through the Stargate, and he's giving you the example of what you must do because you all got the Stargate. The message of Christ is not one person. The message of Christ is you are all Christ. You understand what I'm saying? You just got to be turned on. You understand what I'm saying? Somebody got to flip that doggone remote control down at the cable office and turn your doggone light on. It's simple as that. Okay? Now, I had to give that back Bible verse because I wanted to do some things on this particular part. This is some stuff coming out of England. What is a God but man? Now, they're getting this off of the Gnostic scriptures. What is a God but man? Wielding the force of chaos. Remember that word chaos because it's very important that you understand chaos, or what they call quantum physics, or what they call new physics in the field of education. You see, the white boys got to jump on you. They give you that garbage, mathematics, and all that bull jive. There is what you call academics, or what you call chemistry, and what you call the 7 liberal arts, and then there's what is called occult chemistry, occult science, which means only that which is hidden. And they have taken the actual blueprint of where the other stuff is coming out, and they give you the actual stuff when you go into actual college to learn that stuff, and you learn the mathematics proportion is only an indicator of what there's something greater. And the spiritual stuff you don't get. That's taught in the lodge. You understand what I'm saying? That's called quantum physics, chaos physics. You understand? Which is nothing talking about melanin magic, or what you call dark matter magic. Okay, it's called, what is man but God? Wheeled from the force of chaos, the black dot. And to him, nothing is true, and everything is permitted. Now, that's not talking about the white man, because the laws that came down for him is he had to have a strict code of ethics and moral dogma because he didn't know how to behave. This is talking about the gods. You understand what I'm saying? So now this is anything dialectically opposed to what you call fundamentalism, where somebody else is the God and you worship it. We're not saying there's not a prime creator. We're just saying that you're part of that prime creator. Hell, if you got a lake and you got a doggone beach, is not the water in the beach and the water in the lake the same damn water? Right? All right, that's all it is. You're the microcosm of the macrocosm. It says, nothing is true and everything is permitted. What do they mean by that? They mean that there's knowledge on top of knowledge, and when you go to this level, there's another level, and you never get on top of it. You see what I'm saying? That's why you got to neutralize the ego, because we all in the kindergarten with the knowledge, but yet we want to teach somebody something, or we want to doggone say, this is it. And we all in kindergarten with the knowledge. You see what I'm saying? And it keeps going on, keeps going on. So nothing is true, everything is permitted. There is no purpose in the existence. He is the force that chooses his own. He's talking about the gods. Now, this is you. This is breaking the restrictions of what you would call moral dogma or fundamentalism from you, because it's kept you into slavery up to now. Check. He has bound himself to the earth forever and reincarnates at will until he has had enough of the teachings. You will bind yourself on this classroom until you have had enough of the teaching. You say, I'm ready to go to another level. I've been taught on this level. So even though you might be ignorant now, 360 degrees of knowledge is in you, and you have been going through reincarnation cycle, so you know the knowledge. It's getting ready to come out. Check? All right. For the universe is a mad and it is arbitrary in her ways, which means it's chaos. Never stops moving. Y'all stick with me because there's going to be some real deep stuff tonight when I start showing you these pictures. All right. We just set you up. Nothing is, it says, nothing is unchangeable except change itself. You understand what I'm saying? Everything can change except change itself because change is changing. Check? The only universal principle is the universal lack of principle. The only universal principle is the universal lack of principle. See, this is breaking down all the particular stuff. I'm going to explain this in a few minutes. What I'm talking about in a few minutes. I'm going to go and explain this in a few minutes. Yet, the great black mother goddess Chaos will lend her power to those who can become her favorites. Her favorites, her original black children, with her stargate in them. That means all that's up there, the only people that's going to lend it to is the one that's got a part of that in it. Now, what do I mean by, what I mean by the only principle, universal principle is the lack of principle. Because I went to Hampton University. So all the little black brothers and sisters, I've met a lot of people, 18, 19, 20, you know, up to about 23, and they got on, you know, all of them got the little twists and the dreads and everything like that and all. So when you first get in Afrocentricity, the first thing you do is you learn a certain behavior. You see what I'm saying? You learn it, and I understand at first the goal and the objective is you don't want to be like the white man. So the first thing is the brother say, brother, why you cut your hair? I say, you're right. I say, first of all, I got the chemical out of it, so therefore I don't have the stuff on the inside so it don't shut down my crown chakra. I said, but on the other hand, he was like, well, brother, you know, why you cursing or why you doing this type thing? I said, what you doing, brother, you dealing with the physical mannerism and it's keeping you from going inside. Oh, so you learn how to, you know, you put on all the African clothes, you get the dreads, all that's positive. Now, don't get me wrong. You get the dreads, and then all of a sudden, you put on this particular stuff, and you learn how to be this whole Afrocentric mode, which is positive for the simple fact that you want to have a people that don't identify with white so often. But all of a sudden, you start getting stuck there. You start getting stuck there, and it keeps you from going inside. And then the next thing, the objective that you sought to change yourself becomes just as bad as the objective that you tried to bring yourself out of. You just coming from one dichotomy to the other, and you stuck in the same phase. And I said, that is because you have been trained on a moral dogma standard that you got to act a certain way outwardly, and it shields your pathology inwardly. Y'all understand where I'm coming from? You see what I'm saying? It shields your pathology inwardly. Check. So this is why all of a sudden, after 10 years of the Afrocentric movement, half them niggas done sold you out. Oh, brother, and they done got over on you. You see what I'm saying? Because you don't understand until you go inwardly, it don't manifest outwardly, but you can change outwardly, and it can stop the flow of going inwardly. Now, go with a few other things, because I'm going to, let's see if I can get this other piece, because I'm going to show you something on the ego. We need to deal with this particular thing. First of all, let me go into this elder race. The elder race. The elder race. It says after, now we're going to go far beyond. Now, for those people who don't believe in Atlantis and Lemuria, that's because you ain't been studying. Oh, I got with all the scholars, and I said, where the hell you get this stuff from? I said, okay, then, you want documentation. So I start documenting all the scholars at the Millennium Conference, and they had to bear witness to it. I said, you just didn't read the Hermes Slice Magistus material, where it simply said, Tahuti comes from a land of the deluge, beyond the Nile. You see what I'm saying? And they said that his particular work is undateable. So when you talk about Atlantis and Lemuria and all that type of stuff, you're talking about particular stuff that's all in the document. You just got to sift it out. One good book you need to get is health researchers just put it back out. It's Atlantis and Lemuria by Rudolf Steiner. Atlantis and Lemuria by Rudolf Steiner. Now, this book came out in 1925, supposedly before Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Master Farah Muhammad came to teach Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And you laughed at that stuff, but yet the cracker in almost 5 years before Master Farah Muhammad came to teach him, he bear witness to the same thing that the white man was created. The white man was created. Bear witness that the sun was separated from the moon. All in this particular book. You see? So therefore, it's just you just haven't dug deep enough. Or is there a conspiracy of hidden history, and they're only giving the scholars what they want them to know? Don't go beyond Egypt for 3,000 years. And everything else is vague. You can hint on it, but you don't get the complete gnosis. Now, let's go into this particular thing. After the earth and the planet has cooled, it was ready for the inhabitants. A race arrived from outer space who was not human. Now, but was the original true race of men. Now, this particular person he's talking rubbish. He said they ain't human, but he said they had an original true race of men. You understand what I'm saying? Now, but they were called the Cyclopean race and are known in the secret arcane as the elder race. So he's doing the metaphysical thing again. He's talking to one people, and you thinking it's a damn person with a damn one eye and the forehead and no other eyes. Cyclopean means the third eye. Check. Are the Elohim, elder race. And simply the elves before coming to earth, they had traveled through space and all over the great cycles of time. They were titans and they rode the starways. And they still, in other dimensions in time and space, sought ways, and they always sought the best green pastures for their stock or their flock. The first life on the planet was the inheritors of the legends, was a great race of elder race who preceded man. Now we go back into that because, like I said, at one time you were God. Manetho said, before pre-dynastic Kemetic, the gods used to rule. That's when your third eye was open, your chakra system, and your higher self. You understand? So they are saying that this particular elder race preceded man. It's metaphysical to say that the man with the shut down faculties, it was Superman, then it was man. Go look at Superman 2. When the people, when the glass shattered and these three black figures got out and came back and started running the earth. Check. Some of the elves were true Cyclops, third eye, and they had only a great central eye in the middle of their forehead. Others had two eyes like human beings. Oh, yeah, right. He double talking in this thing. And still others had developed the psychic third eye, which is all the same thing. And were 12 feet tall, male and female, and was no sex differential, which means in actuality they were spiritually compatible to each other, male and female. But it did say that they were 12 feet tall. Well, you know that based on Herodotus accounts. That these people were 12 feet tall when you would have Manute Bowles being the damn shortest person in his family, but the tallest person in the NBA. Now, it also says that the other man came, and this other man, or what they would call an animal man, could never be elves. So in actuality, they're saying that there are two different evolutions of races on the earth, whereas one is not involved in the other. Get the last chapter of the book, People with the Secret, when the Sufis are saying this particular thing. Now, when the people are saying this, now, what happened? It says, oh man, realize that you are the highest form of deity in the universe. There is nothing beyond you. And in this case, you are grand. And in this case, you are the lowest. Now, let me explain this. You are the lowest. It says because you are the highest, you are the lowest. The mama got to get down on her knees to put the children on the back. So therefore, all the animals and stuff, and not only that, all the other beings in the actual planet, because they gave you the key, you got to bear the burden of others. So you got to go through the karma, the reincarnation, and all the hell, and go through total death. So therefore, there won't be nothing that you haven't done, so therefore you can regain the universe. Check? All right. Earth is a school for God. Man shall harvest man among the earth. Man who has lost the vestige of the human There are those of earth today. Now this is what it says. We'll read this part. Earth is a classroom for godhood, not Mars, not Venus, not Jupiter, not magnificent Saturn, nor the spiritual Neptune, Pluto, or Mercury, even the sun and its bodies. The lotus rises on the earth. That's the Nile, that's the lotus. You have been picked for the special experimentation, so therefore the entire universe is waiting on you. Why? Because ain't nothing in the universe has gone through you what you have gone through. Cultural amnesia. Everything knows what everything is. Everything knows what everything is. Now, like I said before, everything shut down in Atlantis and all that. In that particular time, you were gods. There was a particular group of people called the Dagon, which also Reverend Valentine's agrees that the melanin carriers were both black and green. That green element was called the Dagon that went down in the Atlantic Ocean, and they shape-shifted into mermaids. This is some true stuff. They get this stuff from your history. All you got to go is go look into any metaphysical encyclopedia, and they say Dagon, Dag, fish man. You see some particular people in the Serious Mystery book with fish scales on. They shape-shifted into mermaids, and later on they shape-shifted into dolphins. Now, to understand what shape-shifting is, you need to go see the movie Thunderheart, where they show you shape-shifting is what the Indians can do to this day. So you shape-shifted to also keep from actually going on, and some people left and went to the other mainlands, which was Kemetic was a form of the mainland on spaceships. That's where you get the flying ark. Your whole Noah's Ark in the Bible is actually talking about Atlantis and not talking about no other time that flooded. And the ark was not no boat with no 400 animals on a damn wooden boat. The ark was spaceships. They call them flying arks, and if you study Kemetic, you will see these particular arks. But the Dagon shape-shifting, and those are the actual dolphins, who are now going and running themselves into the fish neck to sacrifice, because this stuff is all over. And the whales is also, because the dolphins have intellect like humans, greater than humans, because they got the spiritual part, as well as the actual whales are beaching themselves now, because this particular time is up. Get the book on Dolphins, what is it? Dolphins, Telepathy, and Underwater Birthing by Timothy Wiley. They go into all of that particular part about the actual dolphins. Now we go all the way back to a particular time when you came to this earth. It was called the Ophidian current. They call it Orion, but the original name is Ophidia. The Ophidian current. And that particular Ophidian current brought what is called the Draconian current. The Draconian cult is a cult of the dragon, or the deep ones of space, that brought to earth the Ophidian current that was worshipped by the ancient Typhons under the symbol of Apep. The Typhonian cult is full-flowering primal African mysteries which occurred in ancient Kemet in the primordial times. Now, that was the original religion, was the Draconian current. Now, Sut, which was the original god, was actually called Al-Sut. Al, which means God, and Sut, which means the black. Al-Sut, or our word Sut, derives from this incalculably ancient name. Am I going too fast for you? Huh? I got the juice now, so it's rolling. Okay. This incalculably ancient name, Sut, was the primordial god of the Egyptians. No earlier god exists in recorded history of the present human race. He was known in Kemet as the doubling one, therefore the creator and the reflector. That's Sut. I'm going through some stuff, the pre-stuff, before I get into some other stuff. Now, that was actually Sut. Now, a book if you want to get, we're going to go through all kinds of stuff. This particular book you want to get to understand the Christian story was Moses. The life of Moses was Akhenaten. That was the heretic king that grew up in the Pharaoh's house. And his story is recorded in Donald Redford's book, The Heretic King, and also Moses was Akhenaten, and Akhenaten was Akhenaten. So what you know of as Moses was Akhenaten's priest, because Akhenaten could not speak the language of a Hebrew people, because what happened with Akhenaten was he tried to establish the ancient faith of his mother Ethiopia, where you got the god Aton that came from an ancient god Tutnesi. He tried to establish this because his mother knew that the priesthood of Ra and Amun was actually fighting against each other. So when Queen T came in, she tried to establish, she had this spiritual son, and this spiritual son tried to establish the older faith. And as a result, he got ran out. He didn't get killed, as a lot of people say. He got run to Sinai. It'll sound interesting, don't it? He got ran out of Kemetic to Sinai. And as a result, he took another group of people with him that was some people who were northern Ethiopians. That was the original Jew. It was a family fight against the Egyptians and the early people. You see what I'm saying? Now, you need to get a book that was banned up until 1993 called Celestial Ship of the North by E. Valentino Stratton. Celestial Ship of the North. He took the works of Jeremiah and Blavatsky and put it together and made this particular book, and they banned the book till 1993, and the book was banned for over 70 years. And in that book, they also document northern Ethiopians. Also, you can get the Book of the Beginnings, where all of the subsequent work that he put in his book came from the original work, Jeremiah's Book of the Beginnings, volumes, 2 volumes. Now, it's interesting because he hooked up with the northern Ethiopian people because his mother was Ethiopian. But they had the Hebrew language at that time that came out of Ethiopia. And he couldn't speak the language because he grew up in the house of the Pharaohs, all black people. So Moses, who was the high priest of Ammon, and also Musa, who was the high priest of Ammon, went with him to speak the language of the Hebrews. And after the Hebrews. And after Akhenaten died, you remember now, the Holy Torah was printed 700 years after the death of Moses. So after Akhenaten died, because Moses could speak the tongue of the Hebrews, they took Akhenaten's life in his particular portrayal and put it on the actual priest of Akhenaten's doggone doctrine. And you can get all this in this book, A-H-M-E-D, Ahmed Osman, Moses, Pharaoh of Egypt, the mystery of Akhenaten unsolved. Book came out in 1990, and no black people ever heard about it. But it was in the occult realm, and the white people got it. The book is, you can get it from P-A-L-A-D-I-N Press. Moses, Pharaoh of Egypt. Ahmed Osman, he got 2 or 3 other books out, but this is a key book to break down that particular science that went on. Now, that leads me to what I came for. The book you're going to get is a book called Godfrey James. Godfrey James. And the name of the book is called Enochian Magic. It's by Llewellyn Press. Enochian Magic. The most powerful system of magic in the world in its unexplicated form. But just remember, Godfrey James' new book, Enochian Magic. Now, what is this? The Enochian Egyptians come from Enoch, which is Tahuti, that was formerly Sut. It's an angelic race of people, an angelic particular science, and what happens is this. And this is what I got a boy that's killing these crackers, getting these crackers off his behind. I want to show you some ways to get this cracker off your behind tonight. This Enochian deities are these angelic deities that the white boys have had for the last 700 years. They were brought up out of Hemmitt by the Moors of Spain. They brought these texts up, and a magician by the name of John Dees, who was Queen Victoria's magician, translated this particular stuff after the Moors left it at the University of Salamanca, or one of the 16 other universities. They left certain texts behind. And as a result, he translated it, and they had these particular systems, but they couldn't use them up to now. The reason why they couldn't use them is because they would get stab wounds, they'd get their throat cut, they'd burn up, and these entities, they would come in and just kill them up. The only one was able to go up to 30 ethers, which is 30 levels of melanin. And the only one was able to go all the way up to the 30 ethers was Aleister Crowley, because he had the black dot, because he was one of the black druid lines. Even though he looked white, he had the black dot. So therefore, he was able to go, because when you use your knowledge, the stuff that kills them and hurt them, it works for you. Now, this particular Anukian entities is very powerful. Now, the key to this whole thing is this. They got an Anukian alphabet. And that particular Anukian alphabet that they have traced the language all over the world, and they can't find no language that even come close to it but a derivative of all the African languages. So that means that the angelic host that they're talking about is all black. Because whether they're Anukian, whether they're the angelic of the Kabbalah, whether they're the Netters of Kemetic, they're talking about all black people. You see what I'm saying? So the angels up there is all black people. Now, isn't that some kind of the arrogance of the white man? They got, in these metaphysical bookstores, they got thousands of books on the angel. And they don't have, not only do they have not one black angel, now I can understand not having one black angel because I understand that the white man is racist by nature. But I can't understand why they don't put no other race, but it's all white. You see what I'm saying? But these Anukian deities that they have, you can use these things and you can get those particular Anukian books and start doing it. I got a brother right now that's using the stuff down in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and he's messing these crackers up. See what I'm saying? And you can do that. Why? Because there's no such thing as no particular karma when it comes to the doggone white boy who is a mutant in the first place, who don't exist. You see what I'm saying? Now, like I said before, you have, we're rambling through all kinds of things today. You have the Fish University that also went broke based on, and some of the people have seen this, based on, they took some, they took some skeletons in 1980, and they started actually operating on these skeletons, and they found out that all white people got tails. Some of the tails, not 5% of the tails are, 5% of the tails are inside of the actual skin, so you can't see. Most of the tails are inside of the skin, but they do have a tail. It's just not dormant. 1 out of 5 have a dormant tail, and this is the actual picture of that tail. There was a brother from the Nation of Islam got some better ones, and this was a picture of that particular tail that I wanted to show. Now, it's interesting because I got another friend that used to work, his sister used to work for some of these white people. Worked for this white boy, this white woman, and they had a door cut out, and she used to go and slide, food under this door. And she heard this little thing in there hollering, but she could never go in the door. But one day, they accidentally left the door unlocked. And she slid the food up under there, and she noticed the door was unlocked with a little crack. So she opened it up, and this little white boy with a tail was swinging on a swing like a monkey. And she got the hell out of there and never came back. And all. So now this is also the stuff that also came out of, this is one of the pictures, but also they had concluded that in Tuskegee University, in Fish University in Nashville, and as a result, they told them not to print what they found, and as a result, they printed a small article, and they took the money from them, and that's why they almost like they went broke in the 80s. Now, went broke in the 80s. Now, there's some, like I said, there are some also better pictures than these particular ones. But we was able to get this particular picture, and it's in my book called the Human Artificial. Now, that leads me back to this Aryan race. White boys are calling themselves the Aryan nation, but we got new things. The original Aryans were black people. White people came out of the caves, and what they really literally did is came in on these particular peaceful people, and they literally killed over 100,000 of them. And as a result, the people retreated back into Africa, or they retreated into India, and also that's where you get that lighter first type of Indian, but the original Aryan nation is doggone black people. So when these white people talking about this Aryan thing, because they're going to try to make that jump, they talk about these Aryan races, they are actually talking about black people.